Hello everyone. Last time we discussed the 8-step model of research. The first stage or first step of the research process is the selection of the research topic. In this stage, actually the researcher develop a research question or they formulate research objectives. So before formulating the research objectives, it is very important for the researcher to consider some important points. So today we will discuss some of the important points that the researcher will consider while selecting a research topic. And these considerations are highly important to ensure that the research study will be manageable and the researcher will motivate it throughout the study. So some of the important points are relevance, interest of the researcher, expertise of the researcher in the given area, magnitude or manageable. The topic should be manageable within the time and available resources, availability of literature or availability of secondary data, and ethical issues. So the first important point is relevant to the professional area. Since research is actually is a part of the academic degree, so it is highly important that the research must be in the relevant field of specialization of the researcher. The second important point is the interest in the research area. And it is very important for the researcher because if the researcher do not have any interest in a research topic, then the researcher will not be able to do it in the best possible manner. So the first thing to be considered is the interest of the researcher in the given area for the better end result. Because when there is interest, the researcher then they will utilize the strength and require motivation for for the successful completion of the research study. So researcher will not be able to do it in the best possible manner if he or she is not interested in the subject area. Level of expertise in the research area. How much expertise the researcher have in the research area. So it is very important that researcher have the background knowledge about the research area. So the background knowledge and the interest of the researcher and skills will be useful for the successful completion of the research project. Another important point is manageable within the available resources. It is very important point of the research process. The researcher should ensure that the topic is manageable and all the material is available. The topic should be one that can be managed and the limited resources that the researcher have. So the researcher must select a topic that can easily be justified or that can easily be completed in the given time frame and other resources that the researcher will utilize in the research study. So being a research student, it is very important that the research topic must be completed within the specified time period. Apart from the other availability of resources, the other resources must be available. They include expertise of the supervisor and co-supervisor and other facilities, whether in the form of funds or instrument, all these should be easily available. Availability of secondary data. This is very important for the researcher. The availability of data or information or literature in the given area is very important because if no proper literature is available, then it can be very difficult for the researcher during the writing phase of the research. So make sure that the literature should be available, because if the researcher lacks literature in a given area of research, then it is very difficult to make a good progress in the whole research project. If they have already interest in that area as well, but if the literature is not available, then there will be difficulty in the research project. The last stage is the ethical and legal consideration. Researcher must think of various ethical and legal points to be considered which are involved in the research study. For example, if the researcher they are dealing with the animals, so it is essential to make sure the animal right and welfare. So these are the important points that the researcher must consider while they are selecting a research topic. Thank you.